Welcome to Freedom Ring. My guest this week, pro wrestling referee, the one and only Dan Tanaka. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, pleasure to have you. Glad we were able to make this work. Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I was actually born out in Lincoln, Nebraska. At a very young age, my family moved to Massachusetts. So I grew up around Lancaster, Leominster, Clinton area.
Okay, nice. What did you end up finishing one of those high schools or?
Yeah, I was all in Lancaster, elementary, high school, and then college. A little bit of college was out in Gardner, Mass.
Okay.
Yep.
Gardner. Didn't Anthony Green used to do some shows in Gardner?
Yeah, he did, and I was still out in Detroit when he was doing that.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I remember but then he ended up like getting signed or something at the time.
Yeah, he left and.
Yeah, that was the end of that.
That was the end of the shows.
Yeah. Now, we know you're a pro wrestling referee, but what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
Well, at a very young age again, I was about 14. I had spinal fusion done.
Okay.
Double spinal fusion because I had a bad case of scoliosis.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not a wrestler right now. And focus on becoming a referee eventually. Other than that, I survived a heart attack, widowmaker heart attack, a few weeks before my 31st birthday.
Really?
Yeah. I was with my future ex-wife at the time, driving down to Worcester to get her some scrubs for her schooling. Mm-hmm. And then I started feeling all these pains in my back and my chest. My arms started going too.
Really?
And as we pulled into the parking lot of the store, that's when she called my mom at home and said, "Hey, has he ever had this happen before?" And she said, "No, let's take him to the ER." And then push seats out so she could drive now. Put in a GPS for a hospital nearby, right down the street.
Oh, wow.
So got into the ER and I told him what was going on, and he just pulled me right in, gave me EKG. So saying, "Hey, kid, you're having a heart attack." I'm like, huh? Okay. I mean, I wasn't like eating terrible food all the time, and I wasn't doing anything else that would cause it. But sure enough, they did a catheterization to the arm to place a stent, and then they said, "Yeah, you got a 99% blockage in your LAD." And that's called a widowmaker because most people will not survive that.
Oh, yes. Okay, widowmaker. Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Most people do not survive the widowmaker heart attack, but
yeah.
I got in just in time, be caught early, and then no damages. They're saying my heart looks like nothing ever happened.
Is that just like a freak thing, or is that like...
Now, there's a heart disease that runs in my mom's family.
Okay.
But not that young. It's like more of a 60s, 70s kind of a thing that happened.
Okay.
Maybe 50s, but not 30s.
Yeah. No, that's terrifying. Well, I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, and they're saying, yeah, you got a really strong heart, so you're good to go.
Well, that's good, yeah.
I'm on my medications and the rest of my life, but other than that, I can still function and do everything else like a normal person would.
Do you have to go for a lot of checkups for that, or?
Mostly annual checks with a cardiologist to get, cardiac echogram will be done, a nuclear stress test will be done, just checking it all out, and everything still looks really good right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. What's the third thing?
For a short while, I was a paranormal investigator.
Okay.
Kind of like you watch Ghost Hunters on TV or Paranormal State, whatever. They're investigating these buildings and to see, is it paranormally active?
Okay.
So what me and a couple of people would do is we get these people calling us and say, "Hey, we're experiencing this thing in our house. We don't understand what's going on. We think it's a paranormal entity." And then we'll say, "Okay, we'll come in and check things out." And we get the typical equipment, EMF scanners, and we're basically saying, "Okay, how can we debunk this?
Yeah, okay.
Is it really a wiring problem that's going on, or are the doors not tightly latched onto the hinges?" Because they'll say, "Oh, our doors are moving. We feel weird in this area." Okay. And we'll find out what's going on.
Oh, cool. Is that like a company or like was that
It was
like
just a voluntary service. They just
okay.
say, we're having this problem. Can you do this? Yeah, sure.
Okay. And did you ever find anything doing that you were like, I mean, I don't know how you believe in that stuff or not, but like was there anything that you're like, all right, I can't explain this?
Not so much with, like, with a client's house, but we did a convention eventually. Was done by the Ghost Hunters people out. It's called Rolling Hills Asylum out in, I think it's Bethany, New York,
Okay.
close to Buffalo. And this place, you could see these dark figures moving around like a person, like a shadow, a person walking around and sitting on like a hospital bed, kicking their legs out. I'm like, do you see that over there? Like, what do you see? I'm like, I see this, and yeah, I see that too. I'm like, whoa. See stuff like that, and another room we did there was a chapel, and one way they try to test communications with a spirit in the room, those mag lights, you twist them on, turn them
Yeah.
on, whatever. Now there's a way you can twist them so that it'll be like just barely touching and turn on. And I'll sit it down on the ground, and I'll try asking, hey, is somebody here with a sock? Turn this flashlight on. And it's gonna test it out, but this thing would go on. I'm like, okay. Tried asking all these different questions. I could say, okay, is your name Emily?
Yeah.
Are you female? Did you work here? Were you a patient here? Stuff like that. And I'll go on and I'll ask a question again, but in a different way to see what will happen. We'll turn on it for yes or stay off or no. And could get the same answers that just matched up.
Oh my goodness.
And at one point, there's another maglet in the very back room. It just goes on and stays on. I say, hey, whoever's there, can you please turn it off? Because we're talking to someone else up front. They wouldn't turn it off. I said, okay. So you want to talk? Okay, turn that light off. Come to the front and turn this light on. And it goes off, and all of a sudden, there's people in these rows of pews. And each row from the back forward gradually built up. So, oh, what was that? What was that? Well, up to the front, it goes on. So I'm like, sat there, like, wow, this is just crazy stuff we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of. I mean, I haven't had too many run-ins. There's an abandoned house in Merrimack. I think it's still there that we used to be like everybody said was haunted, but I think we like worked ourselves up so much. I don't know if there was anything actually in that house because the family had just abandoned the house and never came back, and no one could explain it. And I don't know. I think like we worked ourselves up so much that every little thing happened, we're out of there.
That sometimes is a diagnosis too. It might be a hysteria thing where someone just feels something and then they convince someone else they're feeling it too.
Yeah.
And that's another diagnosis to come up with, so to speak.
Oh yeah, we just got to move the mic down just a little bit. There you go. Little technical difficulties, but we're good. No, that's fascinating stuff though. But yeah, I don't mess with ghosts too much myself. I try not to.
I mean, it's been a long time for me now. I mean, at that time I was doing a little bit less wrestling.
Yeah.
And then eventually after that, I was doing a lot more again.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting gig there.
Yeah. You meet a lot more odd characters
Oh, I can imagine.
there than you do in wrestling. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, it takes a certain.
I don't want to
breed.
insult anyone out
Yeah.
there, but you just meet those kind of people.
Yeah. I got to ask you this question. This is the money question on Let Freedom Ring. Sticking with the theme of the show, we ask everybody this. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Okay.
What does it mean to you to be an American?
Well, I'd like to have actual freedom in this country. I believe in leaving people alone, let them pursue their pursuit of happiness, live their life, how they do it, as long as they're not harming anybody or interfering with their pursuit of happiness, or basically looking for people to fund their way of doing things by government force.
Okay.
I believe in voluntary actions. Someone needs some help, people in the community can go ahead and step in and help them out financially or otherwise.
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I honestly, let people live how they want to live. I definitely agree with that. And if it's not your business, it's not your business.
As long as it's not harming you
Yeah.
or costing you money, and you're fine.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. That's a good answer. Now I got to ask this because, like we said, you're a pro wrestling referee. First, I just want to know, how did you get into pro wrestling to start with, like as a fan?
Well, I'd see it on my TV quite a bit. My younger days. My older brother was really into it. I didn't fully catch on to that until I was just about 9 or 10, I think. I don't really know why. I just did. My brother went to a little house show they did out in Hershey, Pennsylvania, when we were visiting my grandparents out there,
Okay.
and he got the Macho Man finger and got Macho Man sweat all over it.
Yeah.
But other than that, then I had a neighbor who kind of helped me get more into it. He was really into it, and I watched pay-per-views at his house, and he had the action figures, so I started getting them myself, and just got fully drawn in there, you know.
Now, what era is that you're getting into it? Is that like the golden era, the attitude era?
Oh, that was right before the new generation. That was like
Okay.
89, 90, 91,
Okay.
and then just kept going from there.
Yeah, I became a fan in '91 when I was like 6. The first thing that I remember is like SummerSlam '91. That's all I really remember, and it was like, what a time to be alive, I have to say. And then I don't know, were you a fan of the new generation?
I was still enjoying it, but it was like, this is really weird.
Yeah.
It was just like, what do they mean by new generation?
Yeah.
I can understand new guys coming up, but that was gonna happen continually no matter what happened. But maybe it was too cartoony, I guess.
Yeah.
They were cartoony before, but then became a little extra. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was like Bret Hart, and then everyone else. I mean, not everyone
Well,
else.
everyone had
but
an occupation of
Yeah.
something, like a dentist or a trash man or
there's
circus clown.
Yeah, Doink the Clown. Yeah, X-Pac did an interview, and it was really funny. He goes, why do they all have occupations? Like they weren't making enough money from wrestling?
Yeah, they got a job on the side, and they just, I just got done with work. I'm not gonna wrestle a match. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, there was some really I really enjoyed cause that was around like '94, and I still enjoyed it, but it did, even as a kid, I felt like without Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, because those were like and obviously Savage, they weren't having them wrestle, but these guys were like larger than life, and then it felt like that new generation stuff. It was very lagging for a while.
yeah, it did. The biggest guy you had was Diesel.
And I hated Diesel as a kid.
Oh, I really liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually supposed to meet him for a house show. My dad knew a building manager
Okay.
over in Fitchburg, and there was a house show coming there, so we got tickets. And then my dad asked me, "Hey, can you find a way to help my son meet Diesel?" And he said, "Okay, let me try asking them." He talked to W representatives, and then it got set up to happen.
Oh wow.
And the funny thing about this is that Diesel was kind of feuding with Bret Hart, and Diesel was the heel, and it was a steel cage match that night. During this time, they're doing the whole fan guest manager
Okay.
kind of a thing,
Yeah.
even for house shows. So I think that was supposed to actually happen, because they even said, "We're sorry we can get you in time to meet Diesel, and you're supposed to do more than just actually meet him. You're supposed to be like do some kind of fan interaction with him." Like, I was like, huh. Well, that's too bad. But the manager there, the representative, had me meet Jeff Jarrett and Duke the Dumpster Drosy,
Okay.
who were on their way out. But they took time to say hello to me and take pictures.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
that was nice of them.
How'd you feel about Jeff Jarrett? Because you're a kid at that point. Everybody hated Jeff Jarrett then.
I was like, Jeff was like almost fresh out of the shower.
Oh, yeah.
So his hair was all wet and tied back, and I didn't recognize him at first. But he started talking. I was like, oh, that is Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
But at that time, he was in a whole I'm the greatest singer, greatest entertainer, and the singing going on, And I was like, I was old enough to understand how things worked.
Yeah.
But still, at the same time, I was like sitting there wondering how much is their character on TV them.
Yeah.
And he's just the nicest guy.
Yeah, I got to meet him at I don't think they exist anymore. New England All Star Wrestling.
No, they've been not running.
Yeah, I got to meet him at one of theirs, and Jeff, that was pretty cool. I was a fan of Jeff Jarrett, not that in that era. Now looking back, like Alone with My Baby Tonight, I'll put that on my playlist. I like that song. But I started really liking him once he cut his hair. That was, and he did, the little more attitude, and then he left WWF, went to WCW, and I really wanted to be successful in WCW, but that was like, WCW was tanking at that time.
Yep,
it became
true.
unwatchable almost. But you look back, you're like, man, they had all these guys, and they couldn't produce a decent television show.
No, sometimes you got the wrong management running things, and
that's that we could talk about Vince Russo for like a while.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta ask this though. So you're a fan growing up, and then at some point, how do you decide that? Like you said, you had that surgery young, and decided you weren't gonna be a wrestler, but then decided to be a referee. How does that come into play?
I started going to independent events around the areas. I didn't understand. I kind of understood the idea about getting trained, but I just didn't know where to go really. Eventually, I met a guy named Adam, who I'd eventually run events with at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, he helped me meet new people, and then Northeast Championship Wrestling was doing events, and I'd go visit with him often, and they said, hey, how about becoming a referee? I said, that'll be pretty cool. I said, I'm not trained to do it though. So we'll start you off the training over here, and then help you find a place to go train continually. I'm like, okay. And I was still going to my college classes, So NCW that was December 29th, 2001.
Oh wow, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, they've been around for a very long time. I took a hiatus once though. But yeah, I got in there, and a guy named Chris Antone, who was a referee at the time, and then a guy named Paul. He wrestles now as Paul Connor, I think, up in Maine. But he goes anywhere who calls him. But anyway, they trained me a little bit in the ring before I let fans in. Had a couple of drills going on, I guess, and he's got me ready for matches later on at night. He says, okay, we'll find where we can fit you in for your entry level, I guess. And then after that, they sent me to a wrestling school as T.J. Richter.
Okay.
Over in Providence, Rhode Island. And then he moved off to Woonsocket at the time for a place called WrestlePlex, a little storefront area, and it was tied to the NWA New England.
Okay, I've heard that come up a lot, the NWA New England, yeah.
Yep, they were down in Woonsocket, a little storefront area. They had shows there, and they trained there. So about a year after that, I went to Bob Evans.
Okay, Bob Evans?
Bob Evans,
yeah.
Yep. Started training with him over in Pawtucket.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's where I stayed. And then a lot more happened from there.
Now, what goes into the training for like a referee? Are you doing drills with the wrestlers? Like, do you need to learn how to bump as a referee? Do they
You gotta do some bumping at least.
Yeah.
I mean, with my situation, it's all low impact stuff, so I'm not really doing the wrestling stuff in the school. A lot of referees don't do it, but some will, because that's what the school wants.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sometime, whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, so you're going to the training. Now, how do you start now? At that point, are you just working for one promotion, or?
Back then it was really slow. It was like maybe one or two, and then eventually it grew up a lot more than that. It was like maybe 5 at the time.
Oh, nice.
My home promotion would be, I'd pick my home promotion though, and they'd take priority over everybody else.
Yeah, so you're doing that now. Does your phone start ringing from people like just randomly, or people like? Because I'm always curious about referees. Like, it's probably hard to. You can't. Your job isn't to stand out, right?
No. Yeah.
So.
And then when you don't stand out, though, then some people will notice that. People will understand when they notice that. Say, hey, you know what? I never saw you on my match. Unless I needed to, unless you were had to be there,
Yeah.
But other than that, they didn't see me in the match. Like, that's good. And then,
Yeah, no, that's cool. So you start doing all these other events. Do you remember like how your debut reffing was, like the actual night? Were you nervous? Were you?
I was pretty nervous, and I wasn't that vocal or animated way a referee should be enough to say that you're in the match, you're a referee, you're authoritative, and stuff like that. Stuff I don't know was stage fright. I get that all the time. But
Yeah.
until I get used to what I'm doing, and then it's like, okay, now I can do this.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, so like, what promotions are you working with? Like, how long have you been a referee? I don't even.
Right now, it's going to be 22 years at the end of this year.
Oh wow.
22 years, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you started there, but eventually you get to chaotic wrestling.
Yeah.
Was that one of your goals to get to there, or?
Yeah, it eventually became a goal. I mean, when things started changing for me, Bob wasn't running the shows anymore, and then I didn't feel like I was going to go back to NECW. It's like, okay, where can I go to make my own promotion again? And then I said, I asked Tony S. I'm like, hey, Tony, how is Chaotic? And he tells me it's a good time. People there are great. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll have to come visit with you. And I'll just get my name in there and then try to make some of the introduction and get my foot in the door. And I'd go with him and I help him out with set the lights and entrance area. And then eventually they gave me a shot.
Nice. So what year did you debut there?
I want to say it was 2012.
Okay.
Summer 2012, yep.
Because I started going to those events in 2013, and you, at that time, like, you had kind of fans behind you. Like, on top, like, the Mark Sherman stuff's going on,
Yep.
but people were chanting, like, you and Tony S. were actually pretty over with that crowd. What's that kind of like?
It's kind of weird because as a referee, fans don't buy tickets to come see referees.
Yeah.
For anything like NFL, they don't pay tickets to see referees over there. Some are. I have seen pictures of fans in football wearing referee stuff and they're cheering on the referees, or even in hockey.
Yeah.
There's this big section of fans wearing referee jerseys and chanting for referee stuff. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, for wrestling, it's nice. To be honest, it's nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to give into it while I'm there. Someone's like, "No, I'm a referee.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, but I'm a referee. Thank you. I gotta be on my game right now."
Because I remember we would start, because, you know, you had the Sherman Maniacs there, those two fans. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, Sherman Maniacs.
They were a married couple. But we would start chanting Tanaka chants. Like, we
Yep.
would. That was kind of like that's how I first, like, I'd known independent was going on, but I hadn't gone to a lot of stuff. And when I went there, I mean, once I started going to independent shows, I go, now this is fun, because you just have these, like, crazy crowds.
Yep.
You know? Like,
Yep.
but at one point, you kind of, like I said, you start building this kind of, intentionally or not intentionally, the crowd was loving you, so you kind of have a rapport with them. But at some point, if I'm remembering correctly, you're part of a pretty big swerve at one point.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm remembering any of this wrong. Brian Malonis is putting his career on the line to get Sean Gorman out of Chaotic Wrestling.
It was Brian Fury.
Okay.
Brian Fury was a Chaotic guy.
Yeah.
Defending Chaotic, and then Sean Gorman had a Hansen. He had a Hansen.
Yes, Warbeard Hand. Now Ivar.
The deal was, if Gorman's guy wins, he's president of Chaotic for at least 1 year and controls the company. If a Chaotic guy wins, then Gorman has to do whatever Chaotic tells him to do for 1 year.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
could be selling popcorn, hot dogs, mopping the floors, scrubbing toilets, whatever. That was the whole deal for that match. Yep.
Now, so I gotta ask. So they bring this to you. They said, "All right, you're gonna turn tonight," or like, how is
Yeah,
that?
it's funny you say that, because I want to say, so I started Chaotic a year before that happened.
Okay.
And the booker at the time, Tarzan, I'd hear him say once in a while, "Yeah, we're gonna have Tanaka get in that match, and then he's gonna stop at 2 and like hold his hand right there by the mat. He's gonna look in the babyface's eyes and give him the middle finger, and he's gonna screw him over and help the heel win."
Yeah.
And I just thought he was ribbing me. I'm like, that's funny, man. That's great.
Yeah.
And come the whole year later on, it's like, Tanaka, we gotta talk to you. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He tells me, I'm like, I thought you were ribbing me, man.
Yeah.
So you're serious? He goes, yep. I'm like, okay. And from there, the pressure was on. It's like, you gotta hit this just right, because this is where we begin our big story.
Now, what happens after that? So you do the. It kind of reminds me of Shane McMahon in the Deadly Games in '98 when he did the toss. And
Yep.
how does the crowd react when you do the swerve there?
I just remember this. Yeah, I just got bumped out, and then Tony S ran in. He got picked, spinning heel kicked by Hansen, so he's out. And eventually, it gets to the point where Fury has Hansen beat. He's pinning him. I'm coming to. I'm crawling over to it. Slow count. 1, 2. I stop, and all of a sudden the crowd's ready to cheer because like, our guy's gonna win. But then it just fell dead silent until I got up and started going, nope, not tonight.
Yeah.
And I stood up and walked away from his pinfall, and all the fans were just so angry.
Yeah, that was one of the. I feel like I missed that show, but then I saw her on there. I go, they didn't really do that, did they? And I was like, that's amazing.
Yep. And so from there, the booker was like, okay, get some gold like chow on the what's it called, The Hangover.
Yeah.
I never really saw that movie, but I didn't know. That's okay. I'll look it up. And I said, okay. Got some gold chains and a couple gold rings, and then I got myself a customized belt buckle.
Yeah.
Rhinestones and my name in gold. Tanaka, all in gold. So
Yeah.
then I was given a jacket to use, like a big, oversized leather jacket. It was like maybe 5 times too big for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that one, but yep.
See, I love that stuff. I am a big fan of like the referees having a bigger role and things like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to do a different supportive role.
Yeah.
To help Gorman get his story going.
How did that end? Because Gorman eventually loses control. Doesn't Malonis get mixed into this at some point? Am I imagining that?
I wasn't in that match that where Chaotic gained control back again.
Okay.
I think they bumped me up before that. It was Brian Malonis involved.
Okay.
I don't remember who the opponent was. I'm pretty sure it was Hansen. I'm pretty sure it was Hansen again. And then, of course, Chaotic got their control back.
Yeah.
And then, so then I came back for one more event. And all I had to do was go to the ring and referee a match between Alicia Edwards.
Yep.
And I forget who her opponent was because I didn't do the match exactly. Scotty Slade was on her corner. He comes to the ring and says, hey, there's still one more elephant in the room. I'm looking around like, what elephant? It's like, Tanaka. I'm like, what? And at that point, I changed my look. I didn't have the gold anymore. And
Yeah.
clean shaved my face off, and my hair was just tied back neatly, I guess. And he goes, hey, turn around. I turn around, and there's Alicia, and she smacks me so hard. I just roll out of the ring, and I'm leaving. Tony S comes in, takes over, and then I was basically suspended for 4 months.
Okay.
Or maybe a little longer than that. I forget how long it was, but
Now, at that point, I actually remember around that time, like right before that, I think I ran into at Slammiversary at some restaurant before, and I was like, Dan Tanaka. There's a bunch of the Chaotic wrestlers there. That was pretty cool. Now, you get suspended for 4 months. Is that the end? Because you end up moving at one point. Is that the end there? Or?
no, that was there for another year.
Okay.
Yep.
So how do you just kind of take the time off, you come back, and it's just like...
Like this,
Like
nothing ever happened. It's like, okay, now I came back with a corporate haircut and clean shave, and I was getting ready to try to go corporate wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
I actually got called in for a WWE tryout.
Oh, really?
So they were flying me down in the following June for a 3-day camp for a tryout. Yep.
Nice. How'd that go?
It was more like a casting call, basically. Like
Okay.
they looked at me and said, yeah, we actually want more Asian referees.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, I can do that. And then, well, after that, they had they released a bunch of guys. They had a hiring freeze, complete hiring freeze.
Oh, no, okay.
Something about their stocks fell back quite a bit of points, and they said, okay, we can't do this. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go corporate, actually. I was like, okay, so maybe I'll go differently. I started going to Ring of Honor a little more.
Okay. Did you get to ref for them at all? Or
Ring of Honor, yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep. Actually, when I was in Detroit, did a year of loops around the Midwest for them.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So, what year do you head to Detroit?
That was July of 2015.
Okay, because I kind of remember. Yeah, I mean, I was going to chaotic shows regularly for about 6 years, and I remember you leaving. What's that like going to a new area? Like, do you just show up and say, "Hey, Dan Tanaka, I'm a referee," or?
Well, thanks to Ring of Honor, Truth Martini already knew who I was.
Okay.
And Brian Gorey, who was also a Ring of Honor referee, he knew who I was, so my name got a little bit out there a little bit, and then other people didn't know who I was, of course, and that's okay. It's kind of funny because some guys were like, "Oh, there's a new referee who just came out of wrestling school. I don't want him in my matches." And then some guy said, "Don't worry about him. He's been around for a very long time." Had one guy ask me, "Oh, well, how many matches have you had?" I'm like, I have no idea off the top of my head. I keep a log of everything I do. I'm like, so I think it's about 1,800. Yeah. It's like, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, don't be sorry. You didn't know who I was.
You think they just assumed because they hadn't seen you were new?
Yeah, they just like, oh, here's a kid fresh out of Truth Martini's school.
Okay.
He must be totally green and not knowing what he's doing. Like, guys, I've been around for a long time. Don't worry about it. I got your back.
Yeah. No, okay, that's super cool. Who like? Is there been a lot of we've had Scotty Slade on the show, and he talked about Mark Sherman really liked to work the famous wrestlers. Has there been a lot of famous wrestlers, doing indie shows, Ring of Honor shows that you've got to work with?
Yeah, it's been quite a bit of those. I mean, can't remember the list off the top of my head, but I've seen Boogeyman around a lot over at MWF when Dan Marotti was still running things. And of course, he passed away about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, I was shocked to that. I like the MWF shows. Those are a good time.
A lot of people I worked with over there. A lot of names over there. Like, pretty sure Ron Simmons was over there a couple of times, and Al Snow.
Yeah.
And funny with Al Snow is he had a super fan in this area, Quincy.
Really?
And I ran into Al Snow out in Detroit eventually, and I almost wanted to ask him, has Quincy been bothering you? But he didn't seem to be in a mood to want to talk about anything else but his match. So,
was Quincy friendly with Dan Miranda?
Yeah, he was around Marotti a lot.
I think I ran into that guy at the Slammiversary show.
Yep.
And he was going on, and I was like, "What is happening right now?" I don't, because I think was Al Snow a producer for TNA or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, I was standing in line, and he was going on about Al Snow, and I remember going, what does that have to do with anything right now?
He just loves Al Snow. He loves Al Snow.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But have you had any, is there a favorite moment that you've had in your wrestling career?
Favorite moments? For NECW, we had this match between Chris Venom and Paul Lombardi. Paul Lombardi was a champion. Chris Venom was a challenger. Paul Lombardi had him pinned off too close to the ropes. Count to 3. All of a sudden, people are coming out of the locker room and say, "Hey, Venom's foot was under the rope. So that counts as a kick out because it's out of bounds."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I didn't see that. His foot wasn't there anymore. So I go, I didn't see it happen, guys. I'm sorry. And then they started playing a replay off the big screen. Watching that, I'm like, well, that angle doesn't help your case, guys. It doesn't show it.
Yeah.
They bring a camera out trying to show me there. I'm like, that doesn't help either, guys. Nope. So Paul Lombardi's still a champion, and then promoter Sheldon Goldberg hands the belt to Paul Lombardi, and then fans were just so angry, so angry, and apparently I was told anyway, some old man was waiting for me in a parking lot. I'm like, well, can you get him to leave then? Because I don't want to have a problem leaving here.
Yeah,
I wasn't afraid of what's going to happen to me. I was like, what do I have to do to get out of this?
Yeah, it's a show. Come on, man. I love that. You do get some. I mean, we've heard crazy stories on this show and on Leo's show. Just like some fans that just, and I know some fans have been worked up too much, but like sometimes you just have these fans that are just like, hey, it's entertainment, you know.
We've had things happen. In Detroit, there's a place called the Hot Rock, also called the Ritz. Had different names back in the day. I got a good story for that building too, right after this. But some fans just started getting so rowdy, they're actually getting physical. And then one of them, I guess, shoved one of the guy's girlfriends.
Oh, jeez.
And he just hopped out of the ring and started going after the fan, and all of a sudden a brawl broke out right there. Right there between some of the talent and then some fans, and it was eventually they grabbed the fans and got them out of the building. They threw them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just heard shouting. I was still in the back. I was like, I don't know what's going on out there. But then I found out. But yeah, that's one thing that actually has happened.
That's wild. Yeah.
They used mace out in the parking lot too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. A fan sprayed mace at the wrestlers.
That's insane.
Yeah. So this building, back when Eminem was getting his starting to get around.
Yeah.
He was actually arrested there for punching some guy in the face. I don't know. The story's out there.
Wait, is this near like 8 Mile? Or
it's actually near 9 Mile.
Okay.
But close enough.
Yeah.
But not really a Detroit area. Not really a Detroit town, but it's like right by Detroit. But yeah, that's one story I heard there. And we actually had the last event that building ever had because they had to shut. They sold the building. They tried to invite Eminem to the building to see the last show. Yeah, because he got arrested there for punching some guy in the face.
Yeah. He didn't. I would take it.
No, he didn't. I don't think he ever saw the invitation. So
yeah, he's got more money than anybody now.
But he lives close to the area.
Does he really?
Yeah, he still lives on, I think, the east side of Detroit.
Oh wow.
So he could have came if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big ups to Eminem. I mean, I'd be living in California if I had. Yeah, that's where I would go. You do have a bunch of fan questions that I do want to get to and make sure we do here. First one from Craig Kaler. I hope I said that right. In your long career as a ref, how has the business changed for the better or worse over the years?
Yeah, it's gotten better in a sense where there's more good training now. A lot more good training now. Back in the days, like, you found some. They were around. Like, you had Brutal Bob. You had one out in Springfield. You had one in Chaotic Training Center, of course. New Hampshire, Steve Bradley had his place. And that was about all we had.
Yeah.
But now we got several places opening up right now where the people who trained at those schools and became seasoned now have their schools. You know, I mean, some of them went to, Steve Bradley, of course, is not around anymore. But some of his students have gone to open their own schools. So you got 3 right there up in New Hampshire area.
Yeah, New Hampshire hadn't had a school in a long time.
You got
probably since
you got
Lobster
2.
Man.
You got 2 now in New Hampshire and 1 close to New Hampshire. There's still stuff down south area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great. I mean, it's funny because there's like no school in New Hampshire for, I don't know, 20 years. Then one school opened up, then another. Now we got 2. So
Yeah,
definitely a good time for people if they want to train in the area. Scott Anthony said Dan's a great guy. Looking forward to this. So big fan of yours.
Great guy.
Kendall Payne Glover, the Fashion Cast podcast, friend of mine. What's the difference between getting ready for an opening match and a main event?
Well, opening match, I'm usually getting warmed up because I'm just not quite alive yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like stretching out, moving my arms around, doing a little hops, get the heart pumping, and then get ready to go out there for that match because you're just going to be alive, Main event, I'm already warmed up pretty much, I think, most times. For that one, just whether you might be feeling nervous, just keep your deep breaths going. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you're ready to go.
Is there more pressure in the main event to make sure like everything goes
well? It can be. It can be depending on what they're going to be doing. I mean, maybe at my time I feel more confident, in doing whatever comes next.
I gotta ask this question too because they've said in WWE, and I don't know, and I'm sure every promotion's different. Do you always know the finish, or is there times you're counting and you're just like,
I know the finish, but I'm going to count anyways.
So do you just count and it's like it's on them to kick out?
It is on them to kick out. I mean,
okay.
I've made my mistakes in the past where and do the right thing. And
Yeah.
other times where it was on them, they didn't kick out in time, and it's like at the 3, and then they kick out. It's like, no, that's 3, buddy.
Yeah.
That's it. And I got to call it.
How does that go? Like, so when that happens, like, is everybody in the ring like? Because that's happened on television where like a match went like 2 minutes that was supposed to go like 10 minutes. Like, what happens after that? Is it just like
It depends
well,
on
we messed up?
individual. Most people I've been okay with it. They're like, well, yep, he's right, and that's it. Move on.
Does the promoter get upset if they like had a vision or
No,
whoever the
most
booker
most
is?
promoters have backed me up on what happened. Like, yep, you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
You did your job, and that was it.
Good. So does the wrestler in the end though? It's on them.
Yeah, it at least it should be.
Yeah.
I've had guys in sleeper holds. No, referee's discretion falls into place here. They either call it right away, 1-arm drop or 3-arm drops at the maximum. And then I've had, all right, this is 3. Well, all right.
Just ring the bell.
And they're like, what happened? Like, that was 3. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. That's too funny. Actually, I gotta ask this too. Has there ever been a time where you're you're reffing a match and the wrestlers call a Hail Mary and change the finish, or like because I know sometimes people get hurt. And it's like, well, I'm gonna be injured. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, it's happened. It's like, okay, we got to go right now. We're doing this. I'm like, okay, and just go with them.
Just roll with it.
Just roll with it and count to 3 or count them out. That's happened a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were saying, I don't know, Sasha Banks had some title in New Japan. I guess it's just the women's title.
Yeah, women's title. Yeah.
And Willow Nightingale won it, but I don't think she was originally. And like Sasha got, I don't know if this is even true, but this is what they wrote.
Okay.
Is that she got hurt, knew she was like, I'm done, and then they changed the finish and she won. Whether that's true or not, that's what they reported. I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
Yeah, I just always found that kind of fascinating. On that aspect is like on your feet, like we got to change this.
Yep.
Also, question from Stephen Eaton Page. What's Dan's favorite buildings? He has couple questions actually. What's Dan's favorite buildings to ref in any promotion?
I got a couple of those. Everyone says the Littleton Opera House up in Littleton, New Hampshire. Definite favorite is just almost like a miniature Manhattan Center.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
the old Monday Night Raw stuff? Very miniature version of that. So I was like, this is really cool. Other venues I really liked. I liked the Imperial House I was out in the Detroit area. And one time I did the Hammerstone Ballroom with Ring of Honor.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I did that one.
Nice.
And that was a really cool venue.
That is like, that, yeah, those one night stand pay-per-views were unbelievable watching those there. What did you know? Do you remember the matches you reffed there when you?
I only did one because I was just getting started with them. So I did it was a dark match with more of a pre-pay-per-view event, pay-per-view match. It's Brutal Bob and Cheeseburger, known as Brutal Burgers,
Okay.
and they were up against Will Ferreira and Bill Daly.
Okay. Nice. And the crowd already like?
They're warming up right there.
Yeah.
They were into it.
I would love to go there someday, honestly, if there was the right event to go to. And does he have any favorite moments in the ring that in the ring that were great to him that were not necessarily matches? He kind of worded this weird, but not necessarily matches per se.
Well, I like that the whole turn and heel thing. That was really cool, just to experience people's shock and then turn to anger. That was really cool.
Oh yeah.
And then of course I actually turned heel again.
Oh really?
My last night at Chaotic.
Okay.
It was Mark Sherman and Jimmy Malonis. And I just made it obvious I was favoring Jimmy Malonis. And all of a sudden you see me double high five Jimmy. Then the crowd just lost it. I tore my shirt off and revealed a Malonis shirt underneath. And I just got tossed out eventually, and then that was my departure.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you announce before that was your end, or was it just like?
I did make announcements on social media that
Okay.
I was leaving the area. I was like, hey, I'm moving to Detroit.
Yeah.
But no one expected me to leave out that way there, I don't think.
No, I love that. That's a good way to go out.
Yeah.
He had one other question. Any funny road stories?
Funny road stories. It's not really involving anybody in wrestling exactly, but it is involved post wrestling things. Kind of involves Quincy, big Al Snow fan, and we're out Kowloon's after the event.
Okay.
There's a live band playing, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of that band playing. They just don't sound right, I guess.
But,
yeah. People get Quincy on the dance floor, and he starts twerking. And it just caught attention from everybody in the restaurant is watching him and just being entertained by him.
Yeah.
And it seemed to irritate or upset the band playing, or like.
Oh no.
Because I think it's about them. I think it's like it's not about you guys.
Yeah.
You play the music, we have fun. I don't know. It's one of those how you had to be there kind of things.
Was it a band that anybody would know, or just like a cover band? Or
they're a cover band. I'm not sure what their name is. Just same band plays every time I've been there though.
Okay.
Yep.
I haven't been there, and I love the Kowloon, but I haven't.
Me either.
Been there in so long.
No, me either.
Do you know what their affiliate? Why is the owner just a wrestling fan, or is there something more to that? Why do they have such this history with wrestling?
I think their atmosphere is just that nice.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, the outside. You've seen the outside of it. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
You go inside, and a nice atmosphere in there. And then I guess a bunch of live performers just go there. They're in Boston, like bands go there, or wrestling people go there. So I guess you started meeting a bunch of people coming in.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid like seeing all the signed wrestling pictures,
Yep.
And then when I did find MWF and I saw that they were doing stuff there, Paul Bearer was supposed to do a signing there the weekend that he passed. The week that he passed away.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was gonna go because Paul Bearer blocked me on Twitter. I'm also blocked by Goldust. Goldust, I don't understand because all I did was dress up as him and tweeted it to him. So I have this long running feud with Goldust. I did write on his page one time when he was talking about I think a sobriety post. I'm another man. I'm a man in recovery. And I said how much, I'm a fan and support it, and please don't hold a grudge against me for the costume, and he loved it. But Paul Bearer, I must have said something on Twitter stupid, like fans do. And I was blocked by Paul Bearer, so I was like, I'm going to go to this thing, and even though he probably has no clue who I am, I'm like, I'm going to apologize to him. And then, unfortunately, Paul Bearer passed away.
Oh, wow.
Never happened, but got to ask this. Are you a movie guy?
Some.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of new stuff coming out.
I'm not.
I've been going out to many of them.
I'm not a big. The last movie I saw in theaters was the Michael Jordan shoe movie, but like the Scream 6. I gotta go see that. But do you have a top 5 favorite movies?
I can try. I like some odd ones. I'm a big Back to the Future fan.
Yes.
So I can put all 3 of them on there. That's Superman 2 is my favorite out of that whole bunch, the older ones from the 80s and 70s. I like those Superman movies. But Superman 2, that bunch is my favorite one out of those. I like They Live.
Oh, Roddy Piper?
Yeah, that's an old movie about, overlords taking over, controlling all the people, making them manipulating their minds and making them do stuff like go to work, pay your taxes, fund this.
Oh, is that what it is? It's
about that kind of thing.
Okay.
He has these glasses to help him see who's actually human, who's the alien.
Okay.
Who's trying to control us and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's one movie I've always been aware of and never seen. And I don't know why, because I love Roddy Piper, but
it's an old 80s movie. It's
a
little cheesy, I guess, but that's the kind of movies I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any others that you have on there?
Shawshank Redemption. I like that one a lot.
That's gonna be one of the best movies ever.
I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that one. I gotta say though, I do want to see that movie, the Roddy Piper movie. Because that's where he says, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum."
Yep.
I've been saying that forever, and I've never seen the movie.
Oh, just find it cheap on eBay.
Yeah, it's got to be out there. But I mean, I do love those. People hate it. I love No Holds Barred.
That's a good one.
I
like
love it. You know.
And it's more entertained by that than stuff that's coming out lately. It's like,
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot that's like interests me. I don't know. Like, there's just I don't know. It's been a weird time for movies for sure.
entertainment in general has been that way.
Yeah, well,
Television and
I don't know if I mean I know there's a writer's strike, but I mean that was
this has been going before
Yeah.
any strikes happened.
But all right, I gotta ask you this: blank versus blank. This is a segment. I'm gonna give you two things. You gotta pick one. You gotta tell me why. Two wrestlers are at the top of their game in two different companies right now. Both are the world champions. MJF or Roman Reigns?
Well, Roman Reigns, and because I know he's going to sell more tickets.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
I mean, I actually think the Jimmy J split. People are complaining about that. It makes sense. Jimmy had said like, I'm doing what you should have done. Like he should be resenting Jay, and people are like, oh, they're just like milking this for everything. I'm like, no, it's just progression.
You should do that. I mean, it's milk for all it's worth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now debatably two of the greatest tag teams in the world. One I'm not as big a fan of, but first the Usos or the Young Bucks.
Go with the Usos. Same thing again. Just at least from what I can see so far, they're gonna sell more tickets as well, more merchandise.
Yeah, I have not been a fan of the Young Bucks. I used to be, and I don't know any of these guys personally. I just read what's on the internet, and in AEW to me just really rubs me the wrong way. I just don't. Even if this stuff is like they're leaking intentional, either way, I just feel like they look stupid. You know, that's just I don't know.
Another flavor of ice cream.
Yeah, I still like some of the stuff going on. It's just
it's
like I can't. It's hard to root for people when they act like that. I don't know.
I understand.
Two '90s bands, Nirvana or Pearl Jam.
Oh, that's tough. Cause I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
But I did listen to more Nirvana in my younger days. But
Go Nirvana.
yeah.
I love Nirvana even now. I do like Pearl Jam too, but would you rather use TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram. TikTok is just that when they started coming out, were brand new. Their ads just annoyed so much out of me.
Yeah.
Seeing these young kids doing weird stuff, it's like, what are you doing? So it's like it's just for kids. I'm like, I know it's not true. I mean, businesses are using TikTok to advertise their products, and it's doing well for them. But no, I just don't. It's not for me.
I haven't had a guest yet that's been a fan of TikTok. Last week we had John Champ on. He's only 23, and John, I said, I think you're gonna be the one that picks TikTok, and he goes, nope. I was like, all right, maybe it's not even. I thought Gen Z loved this, but
No.
Do you like tag team wrestling or singles matches?
I prefer singles, but a good tag team match, they do it good. I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, I remember back in the day watching tag teams like Legion of Doom and the Nasty Boys, and I'd be all in our matches. Like, we just watch them, like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
They were that's bring it back to SummerSlam '91. That was awesome when the Legion of Doom won. I have that right? They beat the Nasty. Yeah, because the Natural Disasters win the titles from the Legion of Doom after the fact.
Yeah. I think they won from Money Inc.
I think they did at one. No, that's '92.
Yeah, 92. That's right, 92.
Yeah.
I was there for that one.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't.
Yeah.
We should have talked about that.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you back because that's a whole nother story in itself.
Definitely.
Britt Baker or Charlotte?
I've not seen a whole lot of Britt Baker, to be honest. But I'm gonna think the marketing behind Charlotte's is gonna sell more again.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a hard thing to just do between AEW and WWE, where most of these guys are going to sell more than the AEW guys are.
No,
most of them are.
And I know WWE has a huge head start, and AEW is an upcoming company. I think it's a shame what they've done with Britt Baker because they've done things that with her that I just don't think make sense for her character. Mm-hmm. Where she was the leader of her group, and she's okay with someone else in the group having the title, yet they're heels. It doesn't make like remember when Triple H was all upset when Randy Orton won the title? That made sense. He's a jerk. It just that always I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me.
I understand that.
And now she's been second fiddle, and it's like she lost a lot of momentum.
I think WWE has gone a way of we don't have good guys or bad guys. It's all shades of gray.
Yeah.
I've seen that statement from them before. We don't got no more bad guys or good guys. All shades of gray.
I like shades. I mean, I think like the NWO kind of started that because everybody wanted to cheer them, and they're supposed to be the bad guys. You know.
Well, how could you not cheer for them?
Yeah. I mean, there were times where I actually was always. I did like the NWO, but I was rooting for WCW. Mainly like DDP, Sting. Like when DDP got over on them, and then you wait all this time for Sting to face Hogan, and then they mess it up. They count too fast with Nick Patrick.
That whole thing actually gave me my prediction that NWO was going to be kind of the root cause for WCW to go down, and then WWE would own WCW.
Yeah.
That happened.
I mean, you have to have new ideas constantly, and if you just milking one idea, it's just got to always have new ideas coming in.
Definitely.
Would you rather watch TV or movies?
Mostly I'm watching TV. Old, like, just binging TV shows. Like, could be a run on of South Park. I'm on Hulu, so I watch out for stuff like, Sons of Anarchy?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that.
All right.
Old shows, King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, I love that.
Nah, good stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. All right, here's the toughest one.
Okay.
2 other referees, very well known. One entertains us every morning with Today in New England Pro Wrestling History, Mike Crockett or Kevin Quinn.
That's a tough one. Both really good referees. But Mike Crockett seems to be all done with it. Still on a long hiatus.
Yeah.
So Quinn's still around, so bring him in.
Yeah, no, they're both good. And Mike Crockett, keep doing what you're doing because I learned today that the Ultimate Warrior's return was in Connecticut. I had no idea.
No, yeah. That's right. Oh, in WCW, of all places.
Yeah, I thought I remember that happening, and I couldn't turn the TV off because I love the Warrior, but it was an incoherent rant, but I was like, but that's who the Warrior is at the time, But anyways, Dan, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We'll have to do this again because I definitely want to talk about SummerSlam 92 if so.
Oh, definitely.
Everybody out there, have a great week. Keep your heads up. Until next time, let freedom ring.